My name is Simone Vaughn. Nice to meet you.
Simone, nice to meet
yes,
you.
I work with the Daily Hour. I am a recent graduate, but some of my friends are still in school and they're not able to vote this time because they are away. What are your views on absentee ballot votes? And do you think they should be available to students and people living abroad? And why or why not?
Yes, I do believe that that is the direction that we need to go in. But I believe that everybody dropped the ball on that one. Okay, like if we're having a very reactive response, and I believe that as Bermuda evolves, certainly as you all are coming back from school, we can have more lobbyists, we can have more individuals that engage in the political process. I think it's very exciting that you all are engaged enough to voice your opinion. I mean, for me, I went through the same thing. I believe the first time that I voted, I was 28, after I had finished graduate school. So certainly we see the need for it, and it's something that we need to all work together to ensure the best way forward in terms of, fiscally, all of the things that will go into it to ensure that no one is ever feeling disenfranchised.
No matter who is like in office, if it's 4 FDM or 7 PLP or OBR, independent, what is your approach to working with other people and different thought processes to get the people's questions and concerns answered?
So for me, I feel like right now there's no debate in Parliament because there's 30 seats to 6. So there's no opposition, there's no debate. It's like an echo chamber of yeses. What I envision is that maybe you have some from the FDM, some from the OBA, some from the PLP, and a handful of independents. And we literally cannot have any type of monopoly or majority without working together. So the ideas that come forward, we should be voting on those ideas based on their merit and their quality, as opposed to who puts them forward. And that's the government that we need. It's what we deserve. And that's why I'm running.
How would you advise voters to cut through red tape and make the most informed decision on who they're voting for? On how to vote?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think one of the things is just pay attention, right? So be watching the Daily Hour, be reading the newspaper, change potentially over the next 14 days your habits. If your habit is you put on the radio and you put it on RE and you just listen to some reggae in the morning, maybe change it to a station where you can become informed around who's running. If there are town halls, come out to a town hall. If there are interviews, watch those interviews. If you can't make the interviews live, watch the interviews after the fact, and really just do your homework. Because I feel as though you really should be picking the person who you feel will best represent you. There's party politics of where we already go into the ballot box already knowing who we're voting for, and we have no idea who they are. They're just a name on a ballot on color lines. So because it's green, I'm voting green. Because it's red, I'm going red. Voting red, that's part of the problem. That's part of why we're here. And I want to be part of the solution. So for me, I'm going to start my canvassing tomorrow, and I hope to get to know my constituents, and just pay attention to who also you feel is genuine. We all have little red flag detectors in our minds, in our hearts. Tap into that. That's what I would say.
Seeing is believing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
The PLP has stated they have invested record amounts in, affordable housing and increased pensions for our seniors by the rate of inflation. Do you think it will be beneficial to voters and the Bermudian people to have access and see the specific numbers to those claims? Would you ever consider, pushing that?
I think that's captured in the budget, no? Yeah, and Bermuda Housing Corporation, you can reach out to them. There are levels of information requests. Prior to making a patty request, you can go to any public authority and ask for information requests. The public authority can also take it upon themselves to publish that information. The latest stats I've seen are 70 units in the last 2 years, with something on the order of 100 slated to be renovated or put onto the market soon.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
And the pension increase, I'm pretty sure that would be captured in the budget because they've been tracking that to the rate of inflation.
Right. So the Daily Hour has received members from the OBA, the FDM, and some independents to come on our show to talk to Bermudians both on and off island, like looking to see the election, to see who's running, and things like that. I believe you had the opportunity but were unfortunately not able to come on the show. Were you uncomfortable with paying to reach out to more Bermudians?
Sure. So first, I was on the show in 2023 as part of the C8 campaign, right, the by-election. And so for me, I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea of there being a fee for the interview. It kind of erodes the integrity of it, right? Like, and I'm not saying that the Daily Hour is disingenuous or does not have integrity, but the fact that the interview is predicated on payment kind of muddies the water there. And so I understand it's a commercial enterprise. You need to pay the staff. You're here today. So if I were promoting an event, let's say, or some new initiative, I'd be more than happy. But I think for the interviews of the candidates themselves, for it to be objective, there should be no fee. And so I had this discussion with Jamal kind of in the lead up to him talking about it today on the show. And so I reached out to the other media channels that I was on during the previous campaign. And so it seems like the party did pay for Power 95, although there was some lack of clarity there. And Bermuda Broadcasting said there's definitely no fee for interviewing candidates.
Okay, so that was for Bermuda Broadcasting.
Correct.
Okay. Well, thank you for your comments.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I'm just like looking to get to know all the candidates.
Yeah.
And it's very insightful talking to you about that because me as a journalist, it's important for me to make a living as well.
Correct.
So getting your comments on that is really helpful.
Right. And so one thing I did notice, I normally watch the show on my phone, and the YouTube app on my phone doesn't have the join. So whenever they say, oh, subscribe and like, I'm subscribed, I like. So now when I went on the web browser, I saw I can pay monthly, and that's something I'm going to do because I want the show to continue. I think the public interest interviews are great. And I like my ideas being challenged by people who think differently, and that definitely happens on the Daily Hour.
Yes, it
And
does.
so for those who do want to know more about me, given that it seems like media stations that I reached out to now during election season are requesting payment, they check me out on my TikTok, Misha.Fubler, or Instagram, same handle, or Twitter, @Fubler.
Just start by saying your name and why you're here today. And
Good day. My name is Craig Luby. I'm here today to confront a few of these politicians who like to beg for our vote, but they really haven't performed well enough to get it. You know, it's a bunch of Bermudians who have been talking amongst ourselves, Bermudians in the UK, Bermudians here. We've come to the conclusion that instead of entrusting our vote and our lack of democracy to these same people who are just making more and more promises, we need to take the initiative as a people on our own. We need to hold the UK accountable for the misgovernance, the bad governance, the judicial issues that exist in this country. This is a UK territory. We are UK citizens. This system, these politicians here, they have for generations denied us the knowledge of our full rights as UK citizens. That's changed now. We need to hold the UK accountable to fix Bermuda. And that means a call to end self-governance of Bermuda. So we encourage Bermudians to agree with this concept, to reach out when the time comes as we organize to push this to the UK government, to the new Bermuda governor, as well as the UK Foreign Office who manages Bermuda. So with that, take care, Bermuda.
so your platform focuses on integrity, accountability, and delivery, correct? What moment or event stands out to you that you or your party can handle or are a testament to your platform?
What moment stands out or is a testament to our platform? I would say our resilience over time. It's like, it's not hard to stand up on one day and say one thing. And it's not hard to say it in a community where you feel safe, where you identify with everyone. It's hard to do it over time and in a lot of different places because people challenge you in different ways. And so you really have to believe in your heart, because otherwise you'll falter, and then you'll either say something that is hurtful to people so that's what I mean. It's like, it's a resilience question. Yeah.
Right. So Oh, yes. Youth violence in Bermuda. Your party has put forth several proposals to the Minister of National Security.
Yes.
Do you plan to push some of those proposals further? And if so, which ones? Like mental health, rehabilitation, education, things like this.
So youth violence is like a lot of the other problems in Bermuda. It's more like a chain. It's connected by links, right? So if you get one thing wrong, it perpetuates the failure. And so a great example would be education. If we don't get the education piece right, then we're creating a mindset. We're not showing people the hope that you can have in life, the vision that you can accomplish great things, that there's a world worth living in and for. And if a person doesn't get that, then of course they're going to turn to some alternative lifestyles. So that's what I mean. So education is key, not to produce actuaries, but to produce people, fully grown, developed people who are capable of moving around the world and just focusing on their dreams and chasing their dreams instead of chasing things that are they're just lies. So youth violence, that's education. Equally though, we still have to have a strong law enforcement. Like, you cannot have weak law enforcement. There has to be a clear standard and mutual accountability in our community. Equally, that means that when someone has a commercial opportunity, like an economic opportunity, if someone wants to do something, set up a business, it has to be easy to do that. So these are all connected, because FYI, the people who are entrepreneurs are the kinds of people who are going to question, and they're going to be skeptics, and they're going to push and pull on things. That energy is better directed toward business and arts and things like that. So it's a complicated problem, but we can break it down into its smaller parts, and then we fix each small part.
So my name is Mark Pettingill. I'm a former member of Parliament, Senator as well, and a former Attorney General. I came down today because I am no longer involved in politics, and I have a lot of friends on all sides of the political divide, and a number of people that I know that are running as independents, which I am greatly encouraging of. I ideally would like to see us limit the number of people in Parliament, which will require a constitutional convention. I think it needs to go down and be far less, 21. We need to have as highly qualified people in those positions as we can. Having done it, it's a real job, and it needs real talent that understands what is involved in being a legislator in the House. And regrettably, I think we have a lot of very, very well-meaning people that want to make change, that want to do something, and they feel that this is their road. I support that fully. What we probably don't have is enough people that really understand how the system works and what part they need to play in that if they're going to be legislators. For instance, like, I'd like to ask many of them, can you talk me through how you get a bill through the House of Assembly and how it becomes law? That's not a question just for the lawyers, that's a question for legislators. And I don't get the feeling that that there's a majority of the candidates who are truly aware as to what it entails and involves, despite them being on meetings. Hopefully, if they get elected, they'll be on a quick learning curve to get that. But I'm encouraged. I think that what will occur is, regrettably, that many of the independents will take votes away from other candidates, and that will probably largely impact on the OBA position, in my view. And so you'll see a return to power of the PLP, perhaps with a diminished number, maybe 2 or 3 seats.
So you're running as an independent. What do you think sets your platform apart from other independents running, or say one of the parties?
I say what sets us apart, or what also brings us together as other independent members as well, is the fact of transparency. We must be transparent with what we do and what we're willing to table. So it's transparency and also accountability. You can't simply throw your hands up in the air if you don't action items, because then you are held accountable as an independent member.
Absolutely. As well as the fact that as independent members, we do not have to, go between party remits. We can stay true to the members of our constituency and rise their concerns up to the House without being blackballed or shut down or anything of that nature.
Yeah, and building on that, because of the amount of independents that are running this year, do you think that has something to do with the dissatisfaction with the current people in their seats?
I feel it does have a lot to do with the dissatisfaction, but it also has a lot to do with more individuals again educated now. More people are willing to be involved and want to be a part of the process themselves. So it's also showing that anyone can stand up to the wicket and apply themselves to try and make change.
Right.
Definitely. I mean, I'll have to completely agree with that. More independence. This is leaning more towards democracy, which, is a good thing in a sense. You give the members of the public more opportunities and more different choices so that they can choose the best valuable candidate that will represent them to the best of their ability.